the capital with a showdown that has Edinburgh abuzz. It is Hibernian against Heart of Midlothian. As ever, it's live here on Sportsend and BBC Radio Scotland with your commentary team in place at the stadium. Michael Stewart, Scott Allen and Liam McLeod.
The Edinburgh Derby live here at Easter Road, high noon this Sunday. The clock's just going back. The onset of winter isn't far off. To wait quite a while, these two neighbours, to get it on as they look to try and chisel their way from the bottom of the league table. It just makes terrible reading right now. Both sides have made their worst start to a league season in such a long time. Slightly cloudy above, it's pretty chilly, pretty breezy. Pitch looks good. Hearts are going to kick off in the maroon and white, shooting right to left towards the famous five end, with Hibs shooting south in their green and white towards the away fans who are bustling in behind Craig Gordon's goal in this first half. Full away section. Blair Spittle, who's been in great form, takes centre, rolls it back to Kai Rolls, who goes long with a left foot out to the right hand side, where it's headed away by O'Hara into the midfield. Boateng with a header forward. It's clear by Ekpiteta into the Hearts half. Hearts coming here in reasonably good form, of course. Really good performance against Ammonia the other night, and they have strung a couple of good performances together. Even before Neil Critchley was installed, the defeat at Pittodrie they felt was unjust. They've gone on to hammer St Mirren at Tynecastle, and then that victory over Ammonia on Thursday in the Conference League has given them all kinds of belief that they can come here and get the victory. As Ekpiteta heads away from the right hand side of his own box, he's found Lewis Miller to Ekpiteta, who clears up towards Dwight Gale, who makes his first start for Hibs. Can't really get it under control, can't find Boyle either, and it's up towards Vargas at the edge of the Hibs box. O'Hara's there, slips it to Obita and forward into the midfield, but couldn't find Hoylett. Well read by Devlin. Danda's onto it, slipping it through, looking for Shankland. Cut out by O'Hara, who clears with the left foot. Very interesting to see who settles quickest here. Hearts looking comfortable on the ball already.
Yeah, it is. Hearts have, obviously it's only the first minute or so, but they're the ones that have been able to knock it about and force the issue going forward and testing Hibs defensively, and that is going to be the big factor in this game. Spoke there just with Richard about the difference between Hearts and Hibs. Hearts, 2 clean sheets in the last 2 games. That's what they can build upon. For Hibs, they just keep shipping goals for fun, and irrespective of the pace and the creativity you might have at the top end of the park, if you keep shipping goals, you're giving yourself a mountain to climb. So they need to defend well.
Martin Boyle down there, back in from the start for the first time since September. Scott, I know you're out just now as well. He's had similar issues, Martin Boyle, recently, but such an important player for this club.
Yeah, really important, but you've got to play to your strengths. You don't want Martin Boyle pinned back for large periods of the game. You want him running to the opposition box, getting in behind, threatening, showing his pace and showing what he has done on big occasions for Hibs, and that's find the back of the net in big games.
Long ball for Hearts though, down the left hand side of the Hibs box, but Penrice can't get it under control and it bobbles behind with a goal kick. We did give you the team news just when we came on air. If you missed it, it's Bursic in goal for Hibs, Miller, Ekpiteta, O'Hara and Obita, Kwon and Triantis. And then you've got Johan, Hoylett and Boyle supporting Gale for Hearts. Gordon in goal, oldest to play in this fixture. He's gone past Ray Wilkins and John Burridge, with Oyegoke, Kent, Rolls and Penrice at the back. Vargas, Boateng, Devlin, Danda, Spittle and Shankland, who makes his 100th start in the maroon and white this afternoon. Long ball out to the touchline on the main stand side. Lewis Miller's header in field. Hearts head clear, Boateng can't get onto it. There's a high boot from him, and that's going to be a Hibs free kick just outside the centre circle in the Hearts half. 3 goalless minutes in.
I think for me, Neil Critchley, when he came in his first interview and he spoke about both boxes for Hearts, that's the one thing he has put right in this early start to his reign. They've defended better and they've created chances and they've took chances, and that's what Hibs need to go for. They need to get a solid base and start defending properly as a team and stop conceding goals.
It was a real heartbreak for them last week as Dundee United overturned a 2-1 deficit to win 3-2. The sending off of Joe Newell, who misses out today, is a big blow as the free kick for Hibs comes into the box from Hoylett, headed towards the penalty spot but cleared and out to the far side. Hibs trying to keep this going with Johan on that Hibs left, and then couldn't get it under control. There's a foul on Jan Danda, and the first yellow card of the afternoon goes to Nectarios Triantis for the foul on Danda over on that far side touchline.
Yes, it's a free kick, it's a late one. I just think that Don Robertson, recognising the occasion there, there's enough of a margin in that for me you don't need to be brandishing a yellow card. It's actually Eli Johan that puts his teammate in the mire there, to be perfectly honest. Keeps the ball in play from going out for a shy, and then just leaves it in the middle of the two guys and allows Danda to nip onto it. I mean, look, Eli Johan's for me he sums Hibs up at the moment. It's Jekyll and Hyde, and where Hibs are at this time, you can understand that he brings a positivity if he turns up, but all too often he doesn't, and that's the sort of guy that really puts your job on the line.
Kwon backtracking here. Was a really good challenge by Penrice on Lewis Miller, and it's eventually gone off Penrice and behind for the goal kick. The Hearts fans felt there was a foul on their man down, Hibs fans felt there was a foul on Lewis Miller. It looked like a good challenge to me from Penrice.
It's a fantastic challenge from Penrice, and listen, Lewis Miller tries to read it and go and win it, but he's matched by a fantastic challenge. Listen, Hibs just need to find a way.
Yeah, Hoylett chesting it down brilliantly for Gale. Back to Hoylett on the left-hand side. They're both so experienced at the highest level as Hoylett crosses in, but it's a comfortable take at his near post for Craig Gordon, who holds on. Goalless in the very early exchanges here in the first Edinburgh derby of the season. Don Robertson in the middle didn't do one of these last season, but this is his fifth all told. He sent off a Hearts player in his last two, Alex Cochrane and then Lawrence Shankland, both here. Shankland sent off late on in a Scottish Cup tie. They romped through 3-0 anyway. Penrice picks up, and back to Kai Rolls it goes, and he squares it to Frankie Kent. Took many plaudits the other night, did Hearts, making it back-to-back wins at the start of their Conference League campaign. They're pretty much potentially only one more point away from qualifying for the next stage, which is remarkable, as Vargas picks up over on the right in the Hibs half. Short ball to Danda, and he takes it back towards the halfway line before pushing it to Shankland. He goes back to Danda. Martin Boyle, incidentally, skippering Hibs this afternoon in the absence of the band Newell. How big an absence is Joe Newell today, Scott?
Well, to be honest, I seen Triantis and Kwon play at Ibrox not so long ago, and I thought the two of them had a real solid game. I think for Joe Newell, he'll be disappointed with himself putting his team under that pressure and then go on to lose the game, which is where Hibs are at the moment. Kind of sums up the season. It's just one thing after another. So he has a miss in terms of his leadership, but it's a chance for someone else to come in and state their claim to be starting every week for Hibs, because right now, for me, nobody's place is guaranteed in this side.
Hibs have made their worst start to a top-flight season since 1986, 38 years ago. Hearts have made their worst start to a league season in 103 years. Long ball forward for Hibs is going to come all the way through harmlessly to Craig Gordon from Ekpiteta. There's no real thought process in that one. No real culture.
I think we spoke about getting Martin Boyle getting in behind, but there's got to be some sort of trigger there where he comes to show his feet and then spins in behind that from Lewis Miller. There's a lack of composure for me.
Well, Yagoke for Hearts over on the right level with the edge of the centre circle, infield to Devlin, and now Boateng along the grass out to Penrice. Spittle's made his run ahead of him, and in good goal scoring form recently. Spittle onto it, first time ball with the left, low into the Hibs box, cleared by Ekpiteta with Shankland roaming.
Well, it's interesting, obviously, Hearts just playing into the fact that they don't have any real width and wingers in the squad, never mind the team, but you've got Spittle and Danda just playing on the inside, and the width is primarily coming from the fullbacks, and it poses a different challenge for the likes of Martin Boyle and Lewis Miller in the wide areas. How are they going to pick up? How are they going to dovetail with each other? Who takes who? You see there, as Scott talks about, you don't want eventually Martin Boyle being the one that's tracking the deepest runner.
Poor ball back there by Oyegoke for Kent. He does deal with it in any case, and Hearts have picked it up in the midfield. Danda chipping it down the right hand side of the Hibs box, but it's seen behind by Obita, and Vargas pressing, and it goes behind for the goal kick. to the home team. Bursic takes quickly and rolls it to his right for Ekpiteta. We're almost on 9 minutes. Hibs 0, Hearts 0.
You can see without possession, Hibs looking to really get numbers in that central area, but Hearts, because of the movement between Vargas, Shankland and Danda, they're all kind of rotating. It's causing Hibs problems still. It's going in, and then when it comes back out, they're finding the space out wide, and like Michael touched on with Martin Boyle, he's been the one asked to track the full-back, which he's probably the last person you want to be doing that. He needs to be going the other way. So Hibs just trying to get to grips with that kind of rotation in the front three from Hearts.
Long Boyle there for Dwight Gale to try and get onto. Boyle out this near side as well, but well won back by Penrice. He started this derby really well, his debut in this fixture. The two managers making their debuts as bosses in this fixture. Neil Critchley and David Gray to his left. Of course, the Hibs manager well averse to it as a player here at Easter Road. Played in it 10 times, 9 starts, won 3 of them. Penrice stinks it forward down this near side. Poor touch by Ekpiteta. Vargas has nicked it off him. And now Kenneth Vargas driving up towards the Hibs box. He's in it now. Pushes it back to Spittle, whose side foot effort's blocked. Fortunate for Ekpiteta there as Hoylett picks it up. Lovely shimmy there away from Devlin from Hoylett, and he just waits for the options to open up in front of him. Flips it forward into the path of Martin Boyle. Left hand side of the Hearts box, it is Boyle. His effort's blocked. Breaks back to the edge of the area for Yuan. And now Triantis to the right angle of the area for Miller. Delicate chip ball in. Boyle attacks it. And it comes off his head and goes wide for the goal kick, albeit with a flag up in any case down here. But promising from a Hibs point of view. They countered really well there. And that all came from a chance for Kenneth Vargas to attack the Hibs box. It stays nothing each.
Yeah, but it all comes from a horrendous bit of defending from Ekpiteta. You know what I mean? Look, under no pressure to turn over the ball in an area like that, which you've effectively given Vargas the opportunity to drive into your box. O'Hara actually helps him out in the end. He gets a good block on Spittle. I think his first touch just wasn't exactly where he wanted it, because you could see what he was trying to do, get his first touch on point, and he would have been able to find the corner a little bit easier. Instead he tried to dig it out and O'Hara got the block. But the positivity for Hibs was that they countered very well. You're right.
Here comes Oyagoki, really strong, powerful run down that far side, up to about level with 18, and he's won the corner as well off Obita. Fabulous play there by Daniel Oyagoki down the right flank. Carried it from inside his own half, and he's won his team the first corner of the derby. 0-0. An opportunity here for James Penrice to take. Spittle waiting at the edge of the D of the Hibs box. Obviously, a big group of players in and around the penalty spot in the 6-yard line. Is Penrice capable here of finding a teammate inside the Hibs penalty area? In swinger then, from that northeast corner of the stadium. And he whips it into the 6-yard area. It's headed half away, and then Spittle slices his volley well wide. He only seems to score spectacular goals, Blair Spittle, Scott Allen, but off target that time. Off target there. I think that's one of the ones that player, you see it coming, your eyes light up. Unfortunately, just didn't get to execute it properly. But I think it's been positives from both teams. Hibs obviously there on the counter. Fantastic ball from Junior Hoylett, obviously getting Martin Boyle in the areas where you know he's dangerous. But it was, like Michael touched on, great block from O'Hara, and then I think it's Kai Rolls in the opposite box who gets a block on Boyle's one. So there is going to be opportunities in this game for both teams. It's who's going to take their chance first and foremost.
See there, Liam, you get to the centre half and it just pings the ball up the park, and it looks like they're trying to turn. You need to be actually in a position where it's feasible to turn, otherwise you're just thumping the ball up to the centre half's the header. And 2 minutes before, Lewis Miller's got the ball on the touchline and Martin Boyle's on the inside. There is the simplest ball just to pass up the line, but and I understand, you know, that wingers sometimes they want to be on the inside, but there's a time you have to recognise you have to give width, and if there's a simple pass to be had up the line, there is no point in then playing back in field and playing everything in front of the opposition.
You also don't want to be tackling your own teammates, as Eli Yuan did to Junior Hoylett there when he was in the middle of the pitch. And Hearts have got it back here on the right side. It's Oyagoki level with the edge of the D of the Hibs box, turns it infield to Danda, now with Devlin, and then Boateng. Short ball to the Aussie Kai Rolls. And then goes back into the centre circle for Kent.
Already you can see that Hearts have got a better idea of what it is that they're trying to do in these few weeks with Neil Critchley. They're moving the ball about. They've got movements and linking and interchange and rotations with the players. The guys actually look like they've got an idea of what they're trying to do, where they're trying to work it to, and who should be where at what time.
Both managers down there at the edge of their technical areas. It's Hearts in possession, probably started the better of the two sides. We're in the 15th minute of it, no goals as yet. It is Kai Rolls in the centre circle, square to Kent. Side football, knocked forward to Shanklin, midway inside the Hibs half, well challenged by Kwan. He's back with Ekpatet. That's another long ball straight to Craig Gordon.
It's got to be better than that from a Hibs point of view. They're turning over the ball far too easily. Yes, you want to get your pace in behind, but only if it's on. That's that period of possession that Hearts had there for about a minute or so came from the two Hibs players tackling each other, and then fell to Hoylett with no pressure and literally passed the ball back to a Hearts player 5 yards from him. So Hibs, when they're on the ball, it's got to be miles better than what it is at the moment.
Too many turnovers, Scott, isn't there? Just as soon as Hibs getting the ball, they're just gifting it back. Lewis Miller.
Miller almost caught by Penrice there, and eventually he gets a little bit of a break because Hibs get the free kick at the edge of their own box. But one team looks, as Michael was saying, well drilled in this game and looks more up for it than the other one. Here's Obita driving forward to Johan. Now he does have pace down the left-hand side, cuts it back against the way. Okay, rolls it back towards Gale, but it's cleared on the penalty spot by Hearts and out for a throw-in on the far side. That was better.
But and Liam, that's what I was saying before. The fullback picks the ball up. The white man has got to give width on that side for me, because that's where Hibs they've set up. They've set up with pace in that front three behind the striker. Go and utilise it, and not by just thumping the ball over the top. Stretch the game in the wide areas. We've already seen that Spittle and Danda are playing on the inside pocket. Go and expose them in the wide areas. The fullbacks will get time on the ball. Just play simple balls up the line to your winger and let them go and take the fullback on 1v1.
A pretty good record here at Easter Road to Hearts. They've only lost one of their last 9 visits to Leith. It goes back to March 2018.
Sorry, Liam, not interjected again, but look, Hibs are overcomplicating this. Hearts out of possession, they're closing the middle of the park down. Hibs have got to go and stretch it in the wide areas. It's not difficult.
Michael,
the fullbacks have got so much space.
Michael, the players have got to recognise that on the pitch. That's not coming for the coach. The players playing the game can see that.
It's with Kwan for Hibs over on the left-hand side, moving up at walking pace to the halfway line. Chips it forward there, and is he asking too much of a beta? Just about, and then he's a little barge at Frankie Kent right in front of the Hearts supporters. There's Obita, and didn't look like he was ever going to get onto that one.
I think obviously there's a nervousness in the Hibs team, which is understandable because there's a lack of confidence. But it's like Pittodrie yesterday, Liam, where it felt like, for the first half in particular, Aberdeen were forcing the ball over the top loads. Second half, they got the connections better, couple of extra passes in, and then they were able to get those overloads in the wide area. Hibs have just got to calm down in possession, keep moving it, and get it into the wide area.
Lost their last 3 games on the bounce of Hibs coming into this, which isn't ideal, quite clearly. 1 win in 9 as well, that one against St Johnstone here. Rolls picks up and eases it out to Penrice, just on the halfway line. Forward to Spittle, lovely little back heel into the path of Penrice. He's trying to shake off Lewis Miller. Still he goes up to the edge of the box, he goes down, and the ref's going to bring it back. He's going to bring it back for the Hearts free kick here. Lewis Miller had a couple of little bites at Penrice. Fabulous, positive play there by the Hearts left back. It's 18 on the clock, 0-0.
Very, very good play from Hearts, very good. But honestly, Hibs defensively, Lewis Miller, when you look at him, you think an athlete, got real strong attributes in terms of running power. See, defensively, he's not got a Scooby. Like, he doesn't see danger. He's always late to it, and that's exactly what happens there. He just gets beaten a 1-2, and then, as I said, athleticism doesn't even come in. It doesn't get close.
Free kick quite wide left, about 30 yards from goal. Danda bends it in. The goalkeeper comes, doesn't get anywhere near it. Headed back towards the 6-yard line. Desperately trying to get it clear, and eventually they get it to Hoylett, but the ref's going to have to stop play because Obita's down. inside the penalty area, and that was just pinballing around.
And it's danger. It's danger, Liam, from... This was a 1-2 that was, what, 5 yards inside their half? If you defend that situation properly, you don't give away the free kick, you don't give the chance for Hearts to thump into the box, and you don't bring and breed that nervousness. It's just, that's concentration, and it's just a simple element of defensive instinct that Hibs don't have.
I think there might well have been an offside against Kenneth Vargas anyway, when he was offside when the free kick was taken, and it eventually dropped to him. He headed it back into the mixer. Hibs survive it, and Obita's back on his feet, didn't have to receive any attention from the physios. Long ball forward out for a throw-in over on the far side to Hibs, midway inside the Hearts half.
Even there, from a Hibs perspective, the ball goes out and it's out his feet, and he's looking to shell a ball. I think he's trying to get in behind the Hearts defence, but naturally they're already dropping 5 yards, and it's dead easy for them to mop up. Hibs have got to maybe play it into the tight area and bounce it back out and then get in on the sec. There we go. Look there, that should go in back.
50-50 there between Devlin and Obita. There's a couple of 50-50s over there, and plenty fight from both sets of players right now. Hibs have it with Gale. Boateng was actually obstructed by the referee there. There's a chance for Hoylett to cross. Gordon has to make the save. Comes back to Gale, and his effort's off the line. Off the line by Penrice. It stays nothing each, and just listen to the howls coming from all areas inside Easter Road. It's 0-0 on 20.
I think I was going wide.
Yeah,
I think it was just going past the post, but Kenneth Vargas is going mental at Obita. I've no idea what for, but I tell you, he could be lucky if he gets away without the referee getting involved.
It's a great ball in by Hoylett, because Gordon has come in at such pace. Gordon's had to make the save with the left hand, and when it dropped back to Dwight Gale, you were wondering whether he was going to smash it home, but Penrice was in the road.
Hearts are obviously not happy that Don Robertson had blocked Boateng, and you can understand why they're not happy, but there's nothing he could do. Obviously, if the ball hits the ref, then he stops the game, but he's turned on his blind side and he's just blocked Boateng. I mean, look, if it had gone in the back of the net, the fans would have been going apoplectic, but if they've avoided that.
What's your take on all that, Scott?
I think it just shows you where Hibs' main threat comes from, and that's down the sides. Like I was saying about maybe taking that extra pass, bouncing it in to suck one of the Hearts midfielders out, it goes back and then wide. Then the picture changes and you get more options from being in control of the ball. What they've been doing this start of the game is going in making the long pass after one or two passes, and they've not moved anybody, so it's easy for the Hearts back four to just drop 5 yards and head clear.
Scott's absolutely spot on. You know, if you're working against a side that you know are going to try and exploit in the wide area, then you know that you're just going to, right, we need to sit there. So Scott says you have to move them. You've got to move them to create the space to begin with.
There's Miller for Hibs on this right-hand side, level with the edge of the centre circle in the Hearts half.
You know, as a guy that's playing in the middle of the park like Scott, you would dream for situations like that, where the opposition are already trying to block the wide. It means you've got space in the middle. So bounce it in there, which then means you're going to be either space to turn and play the game yourself, or you're dragging somebody in there to go and exploit that space out there. Unfortunately, Hibs not doing that.
Dreadful touch from Triantis, and suddenly it's 3-on-2 Hearts driving forward. Shanklin's got himself up to the edge of the area, he shoots and Persic saves, and it eventually drops behind for the corner. Really good break there. Lawrence Shanklin looking to add to his 6 goals he scored in Edinburgh derbies, but he's forced the save from Josef Persic, and Hearts have to settle for the corner. It stays nothing each in Easter Road. We're a quarter of the way into it.
Another turnover in the middle of the park there from Hibs, and that's they're causing themselves so many problems in there, not taking care of the 5 or 10 yard passes. They're so important, they need as much concentration as the ones you think are harder. And Lawrence Shanklin gets his shot away, as you all know he did, and Persic makes a save you would expect him to make, to be honest.
Corner on this near side from Spittle into the near post. Poor, it's away. They are just pretty much on the post. My Hibs headed clear. Triantis, that was O'Hara. And out it goes for a Hearts throw-in level with the 18-yard line on this near side. Penrice with it, bowls it to the left-hand side of the box for Vargas. Up into the air, he hooks it over his head. Away by Kwon. Boateng out to Spittle on the near side, but he gets his cross all wrong, and it goes high and wide, and it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0.
You know, it's a big day for a lot of the Hibs players. A lot of them need to really step up and perform. The goalkeeper after last week at Tannadice, Scott's saying that, you know, it's a save that you'd expect him to make. I mean, if that had ended up in the back of the net, it would have been serious questions being asked. He managed to get enough on it and put it behind for a corner, but the way that it's done still leaves a little bit of nervousness and doubt.
Johan's given it away in the midfield, robbed by Devlin. Shanklin takes over. Johan redeems himself, but it's going to go out for a Hearts throw-in over on the far side, level the edge of the Hibs area. He's been caught a couple of times, Johan.
Yeah, the reaction was what you would want as a manager there. Does give it away and manages to get back. Still, again, I think it's stay 5 or 10 yard passes, just take care. It's the basics are to give your team a solid foundation in a fixture like this and build your way into the game. But if you constantly keep getting caught at, the nerves come for the players, and Hearts will start to feed off it.
Throw in, finds Shanklin in the box, tries to spin his man, loses it. Danda takes over, can't get it beyond O'Hara. Hibs get it away. These two occupying the bottom 2 places in the Premiership on 5 points apiece. As Hoylett's caught by Boateng, that's going to be a Hibs free kick. It's to the left of the centre circle in their own half, and the Hibs fans want Boateng booked. Doesn't look like it's coming. I think they're remembering the fact that Triantis picked up a very early yellow.
That's exactly what it is. I mean, look, I don't think either of them were bookings, but it was why I said it before about Triantis. There was enough in it not to give the yellow card, but then understandably for the Hibs support, they look at that and say, well, why one for Triantis and not for Boateng?
Patet under serious pressure down in the near side from Vargas. He's won a throw-in, the big Hibs defender, and Bursic thinks he's getting a free kick here, but the ref is telling him now that it's a throw. So Pateta then asks Don Robertson why it wasn't a free kick. He felt he was fouled by Vargas.
I think as a Hibs player, Hoylett's your danger man. He's the guy you need to be getting off the side of Boateng or Devlin, make them ask questions of them defensively. He's the one who can really take the ball with guys close to him. That's where Hibs' main threat looks when it's going to come from. He's got the quality in there and very good in the tight areas.
He's looked good, has he? He's got a fabulous touch, Junior Hoylett. In the game at Ibrox, the Hibs ultimately dropped the points in. They were actually very good against Rangers that day in Glasgow.
That's probably their best performance.
Yeah, Kukarevich obviously had the chance with the penalty and didn't take it.
I mean, Hoylett is a classy player. There is no doubt about that. I'm not 100% sure that in that central area is his best, but he's got lovely feet. He has, and he's obviously got great pace.
His delivery's fabulous as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Do you not think, Michael, he can play off the side of him then, where he's closer to one of his wide players, and then you can make the combinations in that final third down the sides of Hearts?
I don't think there's any doubt. Absolutely. Just if you give a wee bit of licence to roam with him or with the wide men, you could interchange with either one. He could drift wide and one could drop inside. Again, it's just about trying to move the opposition to create that little bit of space. And I look at Hearts, and obviously they've got Danda and Spittle in the wide, well, not the wide areas, but on the sides. For me, Shanklin's playing in that 10 role, which we've seen him doing before. I would have Shanklin up the top, and I'd have Vargas out in the wide area and get Danda or Spittle playing in that inside number 10, because they're really good technicians that take the ball in tight areas.
Swan's done well on the near side. He's found Boyle level with the Hearts 18. Now he's level with the penalty spot. His cross is cut out though by a combination of Penrice and Boateng, and it's launched forward into the Hibs half. Ekpiteta trying to see it behind for another throw-in off Vargas. Those two have gone at it since the start, as it's bowled in field to O'Hara. No goals as yet. 28 minutes played. Remember, 3 o'clock kickoffs. Motherwell against Celtic, Rangers against St Mirren. Commentary options on the 2 frequencies of those games. Here in the capital though, it is goalless, and it is Lewis Miller on the ball for Hibs on the near side, and he rolls it back to Ekpiteta, who squares it to his central defensive partner O'Hara. Out to that far side for Johan. Back to O'Hara, he just launches it forward.
Such a lack of composure.
Gordon.
That just spells nervousness for me. I think he's got time to open that up and come out the other side, keep a hold of the ball for Hibs and allow them to maybe work something that for me is just sheer nervousness from O'Hara there.
And there will be nerves even this early in the season, not quite at the end of the first quarter of the Premiership campaign yet, but Hibs sitting there with Hearts on 5 points at the bottom of the table, and the wins yesterday for Ross County and St Johnstone won't exactly have done these two any favours. At least Hearts have found some form in recent weeks. It suggests there are better times ahead, and here comes Jan Danda driving forward, untouched really up to the edge of the box, rolls it wide left for Penrice. His cross is cut out by Miller, and behind for a Hearts corner on this near side.
The defensive effort from Eli Johan, and then Triantis as well, to be perfectly honest, although he's been booked and he'll be a wee bit nervous about, you know, tracking back there. Just not good enough. Simple. I mean, Johan is a flying machine, and you wouldn't say that Jan Danda's got blistering pace. They left him for dead.
A Spittle corner on this main stand side as Hearts attack the famous 5 end off to our left. Into the back post, up goes Bursic, gets a flick onto it as Kent tries to win it back, goes down, bounces straight back up. Hibs pick up though, Miller rolling it out to the left for Johan, to Lewis Miller, who gives it straight to Penrice. First time ball into the box, way too close to Bursic, who holds on, and it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0 on the half hour here in Leith.
That attack from Hearts, it all stems from defenders showing a bit of composure, making the 5-yard passes, bouncing it opposite wide player. In fact, I think it was your full-back Penrice pops into the pocket, into him, into Danda and they're away. By taking care of 3 or 4 passes, it was that easy for them to then get at the Hibs back 4.
Hoylett claims he was fouled by Kent there. Don Robertson disagrees. Hearts come forward, long ball down the right, Shankland onto it, taking on O'Hara. Danda's come out to that far side in support. Shankland uses him. Now he's trying to get himself into the box. Jan Danda holds it up. His cross is cut out by Johan. Danda tries to get back onto it. His touch takes it to Obita, who clears. Into the midfield, Devlin's ball forward, picked up by Johan, gives it away, one back here, Boateng, Spittle to Shankland, he's just outside the box, slips it through for Vargas, his effort's blocked by Epiteta on the slide, still it's Vargas, pulls it across, straight to O'Hara, who clears on the 6-yard line. Looked really ominous for Hibs there, as soon as Shankland was able to slip it to Vargas. Really good challenge though, you'd have to say, and it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0.
Yeah, some nice interchange. It's the sort of thing you expect when you get the likes of Danda and Shankland linking up in and around the edge of the box. Both very intelligent players. Not bad defending as well, but it's another one of those moments you would be expecting it to happen. Ekpiteta can see it unfolding. He manages to get across and get the block in. This for me is a good example of where Hearts do lack that natural width and pace, because a lot of the game is very central, and if you get the timings right, you get the movements, it can work at times, but you simplify it. Pace in a wide area can open things up incredibly for you, even if you've got it at least on one side.
Gale gets it back towards Triantis, heavy touch now, Boateng's onto it and Vargas hasn't. The Hibs fans are getting a little bit fed up with the unforced errors here. There's Danda wide in the right, low ball into the box, Shankland with his back to the goal, leaves it for Danda, who goes down. The Hearts fans howl for a penalty as Bursic holds on, and it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0, 32 and a half on the clock.
Lovely disguised pass from Danda there into Shankland, looking to get the give and go. Never a penalty for me though, I think he's looking for it.
Oh, there's no doubt he's looking for it, but it's too easy as well. He's able to slide it into Shankland's feet inside the box. Nobody there to shield him.
Lewis Miller loses out to Spittle, slides in, eventually off Boateng for a Hibs throw-in. Midway inside the Hearts half on this near side. Miller finds Hoylett, who is hauled to the deck by Devlin. Careless from Cammy Devlin. And that's going to be a Hibs free kick, level with the edge of the D of the Hearts box, towards the right angle of the area, and this might be an opportunity. Junior Hoylett, head and shoulders above everyone else in green and white so far.
You're absolutely spot on, Liam, because look at that there. I mean, do you know, it's one of my bugbears at times when you see guys taking shies and they throw it at such pace at people's like midriff, and you deal with that. Take a little bit of care, but he does. Takes it under control, under real pressure, strength to hold and turn and spin away from Devlin. It's a free kick every day of the week, and it's in a very dangerous area. But you're right, Hoylett has been a standout player for Hibs.
Yeah, perhaps even all told on the pitch this afternoon so far. Hoylett, we know the quality he has, and he has this free kick opportunity. Two-man Hearts wall of Vargas and Danda. Hoylett waits to take, right-footed, bends it in. It's a good one, header straight at Gordon. What a chance! It was Gale. He's about 7 yards from goal, either side of the keeper, and he puts Hibs in front. It stays 0-0 as Hoylett looks to recreate on the near side. He goes down again, no free kick this time. Shanklin comes away with it. The ref's now stopping play to allow attention to Hoylett, make sure he's all right. It's not a head knock, I don't think so. The Hearts fans aren't happy that the referee has stopped proceedings, but what a chance that was for Hibernian, Michael.
It was a great chance. I do think Shanklin might have just caught him. I don't know if it was on the head. It certainly would have been about the shoulder, because Danda gets the ball with the initial tackle, but when Shanklin came in as he was falling down, I think he might have caught him. But I mean, yes, to go back to it, it was a great chance. Brilliant ball in from Hoylett. Again, that bit of quality that he's shown, and you just need to try to get in the corners. It's too close to a keeper of Craig Gordon's calibre. His reactions are, as we've said so often, they are not diminishing in any way, shape or form.
Not in the slightest. But there's a little concern here for Hibs with Hoylett down. Getting a bit of treatment here. Scott, you are somebody who was able to unlock games like these Edinburgh derbies in green and white. Hoylett is certainly capable of doing likewise today.
Yeah, like I said about 5-10 minutes ago, he is the player. If I was one of the Hibs defenders, midfielders, you want to try and get him on the ball as much as possible. He likes the contact. I think when you have a player like that, you can. It's not one of them where you can't give him it where he's getting pressed. He wants to feel the contact. He has a picture. He can roll the guy like he done from the previous throw in, which then brings the quality free kick that he then puts in. So he's sometimes as a player, when you're on a pitch in these games, you see the guys who fancy it, just keep giving them the ball, because he's the one where if Hibs have got a chance of winning this game, the creation's going to come from.
There were 22 points between these two last season. There's a gap Hibs simply have to bridge this term. It's been an awful start for both. They're both level on 5 at the bottom as Hearts come forward. Shanklin gets it to Vargas, edge of the Hibs box. Short ball out to Oyegoke, finds Danda on the touchline. Faced by Johan, knocks it back into the midfield. Devlin leaves it with Boateng. Just outside the centre circle, out to Penrice on this near side. Rolls it back to Kai Rolls, who exchanges passes with Kent, just inside his own half. Forward to Devlin, then back to Rolls, and then to Kent. Oyegoke's on the touchline. Kent decides to go to Rolls again. And out to Boateng. And Hibs trying to force Hearts back here. Eventually Rolls blinks and goes long, but it's headed away by Miller. Breaks to Spittle. His pass forward's cut out by Lewis Miller, and then he challenges his compatriot and international teammate Devlin. And out for a Hearts throw-in on this near side. It's beyond the midway point of Hibs territory. No goals here in the capital. We're in the final 8 minutes of the opening 45. Penrice will take the throw. Shanklin comes as a short option. And Penrice still has it and eventually releases it. Vargas goes after it and fouls Miller down by the corner flag. Hibs free kick. Hibs 0, Hearts 0. And not really much between the sides, Mikey, right now. I mean, Hearts perhaps have shaded it with regards to better use of the ball, but
yeah, I mean,
really
look,
nothing in it.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of troubling goalkeepers, but I mean, Hearts look far more comfortable in the game than Hibs do. Hearts have not turned over the ball as cheaply as Hibs have as well. They've controlled the ball without hurting Hibs to a great extent. But Hibs, you can just see there is nervousness rampant right throughout the whole side. And as difficult as it is, they've got to show greater composure. They've got to puff their chests out and take the ball. They've got to show and help each other out. They can't have people hiding.
Bruce Miller with the throw-in. About 10 yards inside the Hearts half. He gets it back from Hoylett. It's been forced back towards his own goal though. Devlin with the challenge and out for a Hibs throw-in. level with the edge of the circle on this main stand side.
You know, and to go back to the point I was making before about Hearts, this is, for me, pinpoints exactly why they need that width in the team.
Boyle trying to get onto it. Oh, and he's caught Frankie Kent as well. Don Robertson goes to his pocket. Martin Boyle yellow carded. The ball was there to be won, but the simple fact is Kent got there ahead of him, and rather than touch any of the ball, he's got a lot of Kent, and that's a free kick to Hearts and a yellow for Boyle, who joins Triantis in the book.
Yeah, that'll be a sore one. Just looks obviously like almost shin on shin, or Martin Boyle's boot certainly has caught Frankie Kent on the shin as he's made the block. No great surprise that the referees pulled a yellow card out as well.
Well, let's get to Brian McLaughlin, who's the benefit of a monitor. We don't have such a thing up at the back here with us.
Yeah, a definitely yellow card, Liam, but it was shin and shin, and I don't think Martin Boyle was actually close to the ball, but yeah, I think in the end, I think they've got the right decision this time, a yellow card for Martin Boyle.
Just about to go into the final 5 minutes of the first half. Nothing each. First Edinburgh derby of the season. And Craig Gordon's going to take the free kick here with the left foot just outside his own box. Into the Hibs half down this near side. The header from Ekpiteta. Boyle's onto it. Hoists it forward. Chested down by Kent to Devlin, who goes back to Rolls, who knocks it forward with the right foot into this left-hand side. The header away by Miller. He gets a second header onto it when it came back towards him. Hoylett wins the header. Boyle going after it. Penrice is there first though, and goes back to Gordon, who plays it first time with the left foot out to Oyegoke on the far side.
That's a perfect example of where Hearts have no width, and at times when the fullbacks pick the ball up, they've got nothing in front of them. So on occasions when you've got loads of time on the ball, you can lift your head and you can try and manufacture or work something, but sometimes you just want it out to the fullback and bang up the line quickly, and it's an out ball. You play on that inside channel, and okay, you can get overloads in there at times, but to me, you know, you have one on the inside, and you've on the other side you then got to have a bit of space and create that and get somebody out in the touchline. You flood the central part of the park, it just, you end up getting too many people in each other's way.
Sometimes you got to come out the structure though, Mikey. I think there when the ball goes out to the fullback, can Jan Danda maybe make a sprint out there, and it gives his teammate an easy pass and then come back in the pitch?
Totally, but the point is he doesn't want to do that. You know, it's like you playing on the inside channel, but you're being told, right, I want you to sprint out in the wide area. You don't really want to be going in playing in that position.
Bruce Miller on the near side for Hibs, gets the break of the ball against Spittle, goes across halfway, chips it down the right hand side. Boyle goes after it, but Rolls will get there first and he clears. Up to halfway, Shanklin gets onto it, takes it in his stride, out to this left-hand side, taking on O'Hara, who's trying to stick with him. Strong play by Shanklin, rolls it back to Boateng, now with Devlin, side-footed out to Oyegoke on the far side. Infield to Danda. Hearts trying to pick a way through before half-time. Danda finds Vargas, level with the edge of the D. And it's a poor pass for Oyegoke, too much on it. And it goes behind for the goal kick and stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0 on 42.
Hibs I can't believe how much space Hearts are afforded there. Danda had all the time in the world to slide the ball down the line for Oyegoke, and then ball goes into Vargas, who's got all the time in the world. He's 25 yards out for goal. There's nobody within 5 yards of him. Poor touch, poor ball, and it goes behind for the by kick, but the Hibs are lucky there. And for me, I would just chuck Vargas out in the wing, but give you better balance, get Shanklin up top, get Vargas out in the wide area, and get somebody else, whether it's Danda or Spittle, going and playing as a 10.
It's 0-0, final knock-ins of the first half. Hearts giving it away inside their own half. Hibs in the attacking third here. Obita forward to Johan, wins the throw-in, level with the Hearts 18-yard line in front of the east stand on the far side. Roll back to Triantis, now with Kwon, forced back to O'Hara. Moves it to Ekpiteta, right of the centre circle, out towards Miller on the slide. He's kept it in play, but he can only knock it down the line, and eventually does trickle over and behind for a throw-in. 43 on the clock. Hibs 0, Hearts 0.
I think if you're Dave Gray and you're looking at half-time, you can maybe change second half, can you? When the ball's back at Craig Gordon, Hearts looking to play out, can you maybe show your press down to the right the right full back, and then go from there, because every time it's went out there, Hearts have really struggled to look as if they're going to get out. That's an area where Hibs can exploit in the second half. It's going to be coming up soon.
There's going to be 2 minutes as it stands of stoppage time added on at the end of the first half. Hibs throw, which Lewis Miller will take on this near side, pulls it to the right angle in the box, headed away by Rolls, breaks to Boyle. Boyle taking it down the right hand side, low ball in field is cut out. Dwight Gale had gone down just before that. Eventually he gets back to his feet. It's clear by Cammy Devlin for Hearts though. Vargas giving chase, challenged by Pateta, and out for a throw in on this near side to Hearts. Pateta worked with Neil Critchley when they were at Blackpool. Critchley had his first spell there, a particularly successful time, taking them into the second tier. We'll throw into Hearts on this near side. Penrice to Shanklin, not a great touch, straight to Hoylett, comes off the Canadian and out for another Hearts throw in. We are halfway through the final minute of the 45, so 2.5 to play until the break. Penrice has a throw-in level with the edge of the D of the Hibs box on this near side. Bowls it infield to Shanklin. Turns it back into the midfield for Devlin, and then out to Oyegoke on the right-hand side. Up against Johan, steps in field. And then rolls it back to Devlin. Back into the centre circle for Rolls. One of these teams have that bit of quality. They might just chisel this game open. There's Maliki Boateng back into the feet of Kent, and into Rolls on this left-hand side. Onto the touchline for Penrice. Penrice flicks it to Spittle, takes a touch, left-footed ball in. Shanklin takes it down, left of the penalty spot, rolls it back the way. Kwon trying to get it in the road of it. Penrice with the effort, it's deflected wide. Flag's gone up anyway, so there will be no Hearts corner. And it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0. I don't know where that siren's coming from. I keep hearing it every time Hearts are in the Hibs box, I think, is when it's being sounded.
It's just in your head, Liam, I think.
I really hope it's not.
But there's another, passage of play that is just so easy for Hearts to find a bit of space and put balls into the box. Blair Spittle's on the edge of the box. There's 4 players, Hibs players around him, but not one of them is anywhere near close enough to really affect what he's trying to do.
Hibs have it in the midfield with Kwon. Still a minute of stoppage time to play in this first half, nothing each. Johan on the turn, rolls it to Bita, left-hand side, hits the cross into the Hearts box, a really good delivery as well, flicked half away, Boyle takes it down, pulls it back, Miller's efforts blocked, it comes off Rolls and then back into the gloves of Craig Gordon. Stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0, Hibs threatening an opening goal before the interval there.
Great ball in from Abita, caused real problems. Falls to Miller on the second phase, and he never looked sure that he was going to strike through that ball, and it ends up a comfortable take for Craig Gordon then.
Long ball from Gordon, headed away by Ekpateta up to halfway. It's off the head of Penrice. Then on this near side, it's up into the air from Warren O'Hara. And out for a Hearts throw in on this near side. It's looking like a goalless half-time scoreline here at Easter Road. Motherwell Celtic, Rangers St Mirren to come here on Sunday Sports Sound. 3 o'clock kickoffs in Motherwell and in Glasgow. And there is the half-time whistle. Don Robertson sounds it. 0-0 is the scoreline. A relatively tight game. Pretty nervy occasion in truth. Chances at both ends. The Gale header perhaps the best one for Hibs. There was also his shot, which was cleared by Penrice. It was on the far post. Lawrence Shanklin testing Bursic up the other end. But it does have the feel of a game between two strugglers at the bottom end of the table, and that's exactly what it is. Hearts have been more comfortable on the ball out of the two of them though. But at half-time in Leith, it is Hibernian 0, Heart of Midlothian 0.
Hibernian versus Hearts. The Edinburgh Derby. This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Join me, Michelle McManus, for afternoons across Scotland.
I've not heard you sing for the longest time. Have you got anything that you could flower the air with?
Wait a wee minute.
Why don't you sing our theme tune then? Sing us out.
Da, 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 da.
Lovely.
The best entertainment.
JB Gill rose to fame as part of which pop act?
GLS.
Sally, you're going to Blackpool.
Thank you so much.
Great guests.
What an honour and a joy it is to have you on this show.
Thank you.
Everything that's going on.
The children, they're the same as their parents.
basically. Shocker.
Spoiler.
And feel-good music.
Afternoons back tomorrow from 1:30 on BBC Radio Scotland and Sounds.
Goals at half-time in the Edinburgh Derby. You're listening to Sports Sound live on BBC Radio Scotland, where we'll have 2 more commentaries to bring you from 3 o'clock. The matches get underway. Motherwell against Celtic, Rangers Hibernian. If you want to hear Motherwell Celtic, that'll be available on BBC Sounds, on FM, and also online, of course, at bbc.co.uk/sportsScotland. Also available there on digital, on medium wave, and on BBC Radio Scotland Extra. On BBC Sounds, you have the option of Rangers against St Mirren. There are highlights tonight at 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. The extended action from 3 matches today, and the best of the incidents from the 3 that took place yesterday afternoon in the Premiership. In the week ahead, Monday to Friday, the Scottish Football Daily Podcast. Tuesday, Scotland's women are in action. Second leg of their European Championship playoff against Hungary, winning 1-0, of course, from the first game. Back at Easter Roads for the second leg of that one. The likelihood is they would be then taking on Finland in the final playoff match, should indeed they get through against the Hungarians. There's also championship fixtures that night. There's a full Premiership card on Wednesday. Sports Sound will be on with open all mics, and it's also going to be televised, so you can watch the action from the studio on the BBC Scotland channel, listening to everything on the radio. Open all mics covering all the games, and I think the eye-catching fixture on Wednesday night is Aberdeen against Rangers. You can watch the highlights at 10:40 on BBC Scotland, and then the week will be rounded off with, again on BBC Scotland, with the Championship live. A very tasty encounter between Wraith Rovers and Ayr United. So, as ever, so much to look forward to. And, of course, throughout the week, all the very latest Scottish football news on the radio and online at bbc.co.uk/sportsScotland. Plenty to come this afternoon, including, first and foremost, the second half live from Easter Road. Is it, Michael, one of those games where it's actually better when you're inside the stadium, or is your experience much as mine has been for the last 45 minutes?
What are you trying to say?
I think you know exactly what I'm trying to say. It has not been a classic from my point of view, watching on.
No, but I mean, look, obviously when you're at the ground, yes, the atmosphere certainly does make it better. Lacking quality in the final third. Hibs are nervous, too many turnovers, games breaking down too often. Hearts have looked far superior in terms of just controlling the ball, but they're not getting it into the dangerous areas, and in large part, you know, it's like a broken record player hearing me going on about it, but you know, they're trying to do the best that they can with the system and the personnel they've got in the squad. Playing Danda and Spittle on the inside channel, and the width coming from Oyegoke and Penrice, but a lot of that is very dependent on the timing of the runs, because sometimes the fullbacks pick the ball up, but they're still the wrong side of the opposition's defence, and they're picking it up, you know, maybe 10-20 yards inside their opponent's half. All the spaces in front of them, the wide areas, but they don't want to go and commit and take them on because it's not natural for them. And that's where, for me, on one side of the park, whether it is the left or the right, or it's more just dependent on wherever the ball is, you've really, a lot of the times, you've got to try and get somebody over in support, because you see so many occasions where, for example, the ball will go out to Oyegoke and Danda will be on the inside channel. He doesn't run forward, he runs deeper on the inside. That's easy to defend against. Easy to defend against. What fullbacks and defence don't want is what you see at Pittodrie. Look at Shaden Morris. Yeah. Look at Keskinen. Look at Duke. You know, there's endless, and then you've got Bissawan as well that comes on. These are guys that fullbacks don't want to be playing against. They don't want to get a wide man picking the ball up and running at them and committing them and hitting the byline. Hearts don't have any of them. The only one they have sort of got is Vargas. But Vargas's end product is so poor, and you know, they shove him through the middle to try and stretch the games at times. Toss of a coin, it might work, it might not work. But I think today, just for the overall balance of the team, it'd be better if they just pushed them out in the wide area. It gives them an out ball out there, and then you've got the technicians of Spittle and Danda and Shankland who can, you know, link up And I think on the left-hand side in particular, Penrice is more comfortable going forward than Oyegoke is. So if you play Spittle or Danda on the left, on that position that they are at the moment, just tucked in slightly, he will naturally give you that extra bit of width up on the left-hand side. But certainly on the right, I think you've just got to go and put Vargas out there. As much as he will infuriate you with his end product, I think it will just give a better balance to the team.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess, as you said, it's a balancing act for the manager. And are you also not, Scott, by not having Lawrence Shanklin, and I know he often plays in that slightly wider position, but not having Shanklin as the spearhead, are you not missing out on something there?
Yeah, I think you most definitely are, especially up against Hibs back two, who we know haven't performed well this season. I think Michael makes a great point in terms of Oyegoke, and if it was me and I was receiving the balls as a midfield player and you're open up in your first touch, it's also about the speed of the run, not just the timing. If he goes and really commits to the run, then you will play the pass instinctively, whereas he's very hesitant in his run, so it doesn't give them that option down that right hand side, which is then led to them having to come back in the pitch, and Danda coming deeper than Oyegoke, which we've seen several times, but then has probably played the pass to the place in the park where he should be receiving the ball to then get Shanklin in that off the back of the Hibs defence. So from a Hearts point of view, yeah, I think they need something different down the side, and definitely a bit of pace, which then leaves Danda higher up at the edge of Hibs box, where we know that he's got real quality to find the acute passes, the verses that he wants to play, but where he's playing at the moment, he's not really causing real danger.
You guys have identified some of the issues in terms of Hearts as an attacking force. Of course, I was expecting more from them off the back of the successive wins and clean sheets under the new manager, Neil Critchley. I just expected them to be on something of a high, and it just hasn't really felt that way, has it?
Well, I mean, look, the big thing for Hearts is that they're structurally flawed as a squad. And as much as Neil Critchley can work on things, and a lot of what you're seeing, I think, is sensible. You can see what he's trying to do, but it's about balancing the team. And, it becomes quite sort of telegraphed and pedestrian and a little bit easy because there is no pace. You need to do things quickly, either somebody picking up the ball and eliminating somebody 1v1, driving the team forward, creates space for others. You can work on the training ground as much as you want about trying to move the ball and get people into certain positions. If it's not done with any real pace, it's very easy to defend against. Another thing you need to recognise is that St Mirren last week, that was as poor a performance I've seen in a long time. Hearts really...
from St Mirren?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hearts put them to the sword, but St Mirren were so poor. And I was left very unimpressed with Ammonia as well. Thought Hearts again did well, like you're talking about. Good improvement in terms of, because they're coming from a position where they were low in confidence. But the two opponents they came up against, at home as well, weren't up to much. Hibs here today are there for the taking, there is no doubt about that, and Hearts need to do better. But the key to doing that is penetrating them in that wide area. And for Hibs, it's simple. Stop overcomplicating the game. Take a little bit of responsibility, get that extra pass in to try to narrow off the Hearts defence, and then release your wide men. That's where Hibs will kill them. Martin Boyle has barely touched the ball. And Eli Youhan, as I said to you before, you're a man down playing with him to begin with. So I understand why you're putting him in there, because the pace that he's got, but you're a man down. And Junior Hoylett, as Scott spoke about before, he's the guy you want to be playing and getting in the game. As a central midfielder, these guys are a joy to play with, whether it would be a Scott or, Junior Hoylett is in there, because they take up positions and they make the game easy for you. It's not difficult to slide the ball 10 yards, irrespective of whether there's an opponent in front of you or not. You get those guys that make just 2 yards to the side, they give you the angle, you just got to be accurate with a 10-yard pass. It's not difficult. Slide it into them, they can then turn, they can release the wide players. You get somebody like him running at the defence, they're naturally going to narrow off, because they've got to, and then you can exploit the wide areas.
We did see the quality of Hoylett. We've seen it on a few occasions, Scott, but actually the free kick about 10 minutes before half-time, Hibs really should have been in front, shouldn't they, from the free header from Gale? Yeah, I think Dwight Gale will be disappointed. He doesn't find a corner. Listen, I think Hibs, and I have seen a lot of them this season, I think they do carry a threat from set pieces. They've got a better height in their team than they have in previous years, but in terms of getting the players in the wide areas on the ball a lot more, that comes from
looking after the ball in the middle of the park to begin with, and they constantly keep turning it over. Not pressurised either. That's maybe the biggest problem for me, is they're not under real pressure. It's just very, very loose concentration over the 5-10 yard passes, which can be all the difference, especially in games like that. Take care, get your players higher up, allow your wide players to take up positions. That's probably the problem for LAU and for Martin Boyle. They've not had any sustained period where they've been hanging out in the areas where they can go and hurt Hearts' defence, and that purely comes down to what Hibs are like in possession of the ball from playing out to midway inside the Hearts half. So it needs to be a lot better. I think they've going to be disappointed in how they've looked after the ball, for sure. And that's when it comes down to LAU and being a man down. Probably a man down because as a team you can't keep the ball for a period of time.
I mean, despite that, because of the run they've been on and because of where they find themselves, will they be the happier as things stand right now? The mere fact that they're not actually trailing in this one and they're still, well, very much in it, given the scoreline.
Quite possibly. It's a fair point. Yeah, because, you know, as much as you look at the sort of deficiencies in the team and the performance, I suppose for David Gray and for Hibs, they've got to start somewhere. So if they're able to see the game out with a performance that's lacking in many areas, but they get a point or they get 3 points, it doesn't matter. You know, they'll be giving themselves something to try to build upon. But you know, obviously what Scott and I are talking about here is things that we think are just needed to give themselves the best opportunity to be able to get something out of the game, because otherwise you're running the risk of just gambling that the opposition don't score off a breakaway or a set piece or a bit of poor defending that might come along, or just generally from a bit of good play from the players that they've got on the park. Look, Hibs have got enough quality in their team, as much as they have, you know, issues all over the park. They've still got enough quality in their team to be able to take care of the ball enough to get into the quality that they've got up the top end. That just takes some broad shoulders and a bit of responsibility.
Would you, Scott, be anticipating any changes at half-time for either side in terms of personnel?
Not at half-time. I think maybe next 15 minutes you might see Kurevic come on, maybe try and give Hibs a bit more of a focal point. But it purely depends how the opening 15 minutes of this second half goes. I think both teams will be in there knowing they can play a hell of a lot better. I think in terms of technically as a football matter, hasn't been great. A lot of looseness from both sides. Hearts, like Michael says, they do have a struck. You can see they're trying to work into the areas where they can then go and hurt. But in the final third, that's where games are won and lost. And both sides at this moment haven't showed that little bit of guile, that little finesse. It's going to give them the lead.
Michael, changes or not?
No, I think, you know, from, as we were just talking about, from David Gray's perspective, that there'll inevitably be a feeling of just wanting to sort of not hang on, but they've seen the half out and they'll not be wanting to change too much, because I just think with the nervousness that's there, it doesn't embolden the team to feel like, all right, we'll go and try something else. They're sitting 0-0. I would imagine, as Scott said, that for the first 15 minutes you'll be looking to see if anything else changes. For Hearts, like I said to you, I don't think you need to change the personnel at the moment, but I'd certainly be changing Vargas out to the wider area and getting Shanklin back as a number 9 and putting Danda or Spittle, doesn't matter which one, allow them to go and interchange with each other, dovetail centrally and on the left hand side. I just think it would be a better balanced team than it is at the moment.
Two more games, of course, to come in the Premiership this afternoon. Both are 3 o'clock starts. So Motherwell against Celtic, you'll get that live on BBC Sounds FM, and online you'll get Rangers against St Mirren. Get that live. It will be a BBC Sounds at Radio Scotland Extra. You can also find it on digital, medium wave and online. Of course, all the action online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. And do look out for the highlights tonight. The highlights of all 6 Premiership matches from across the weekend. 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. Plenty to look forward to. Certainly hoping, I think, all of us, for a little bit more quality and maybe a few goals in the second half in the capital at Easter Road. It is Hibernian 0, Heart of Midlothian 0, as we return for full live second half commentary with Michael Stewart, Scott Allen and Liam McLeod.
Well, last time these two teams were in the bottom 2 going into an Edinburgh derby was August 1985. Both clubs currently occupying the bottom 2 places for the first time since the end of the 13-14 season, when they were both relegated Hearts, of course, impinged by that penalty points deduction, that campaign. Hibs going down through the playoffs after their almighty collapse when Kilmarnock leapt over them, sent them into the playoff. They lost to Hamilton. Still very early in the season to be talking about that. Can one of these teams go forth and win the first clash between these two this season? Hibs get the second half underway, going from right to left, shooting towards the famous 5 end as we watch from the back of the main stand. Hearts towards their fans in the southern end of the stadium as Hearts pinch it back. No changes for either team at the start of the second period, and it's Oyegoke on this near side. Whether there'll be a shuffle with regards to the players who are already on the pitch, we shall wait and see. Bursic in goal for Hibs, Milarek, Pateta, O'Hara, Abita, Kwon and Triantis. And then it's Boyle, Hoylett, Yuan and Gale. Hearts, Gordon in goal. Oyegoke, Kent, Rolls and Penrice, Vargas, Boateng, Devlin, Danda, Spittle and Shankland, who's got 6 goals in Edinburgh derbies. He's going to continue his fine run in this fixture. He's come right through to O'Hara. He goes back to his goalkeeper. Indeed, this century, only Hartley, Riordan, O'Connor and Patalainen have as many or more Edinburgh derby goals this century than Shankland has. He goes out for a throw into Hearts on this near side. And Oyegoke's going to take it, and it's midway inside Hibs territory. He's going to bowl it down the right-hand side. Shankland will go after it, but it's nowhere near him in truth, and Jordan Abita is easily able to see that one go behind. It'll be a goal kick to Hibernian. So Scott Allen, no changes to either 11, so it perhaps will be another little while before we do see substitutions, but both managers saying to the players to go out there and try and do the business.
Yeah, I don't think it was drastically needing any changes. I think both teams, like I touched on there at half-time, will be thinking they can play a bit better. I think what Michael says about Hearts getting that pace down the sides would be something they would look at, but it looks already early on that he's still playing centrally. Maybe as the game goes on he might drift, and as one of the teams go to try and win the game as it goes on, you might see something go without the structure. Because see, when you're a player, you've worked on stuff all week, but when you play like this, sometimes in a game, it just the way the other team plays, it doesn't allow you to do that. You've got to think for yourself. You've got to think, how can I affect this game, especially your forward players, and that's what you'd like to see from both sets of attacking players on both sides.
Kai rolls out to Spittle, level with his own 18-yard line, knocks it down the line for Vargas, cut out by Hibs, who win it back to Triantis, and now it's Gale to Boyle, right-hand side of the Hearts box. He's level with the 6-yard line, great ball across, and Gale heads straight at Gordon. Fabulous opportunities, punching the grass in frustration, Dwight Gale, because he knows he's got to score, surely.
It's a big opportunity. I would say, though, it's very difficult because he's got to generate a lot of the pace. The ball back
from a chipped ball in.
The ball back from Boyle's not got a lot of pace on it, so he's going to have to generate a lot of the pace, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Having said all that, a striker as experienced as Dwight Gale, you'd be thinking that he'd be testing Craig Gordon a lot more than he did.
Initially, it was a great pass from Triantis, wrapped in, worked out, and that's what Martin Boyle, that's the area we want to see Martin Boyle, where he can either get by a guy or put a cross in, picks out a wonderful ball. And I think Dwight Gale, similar to Far, if he heads it down, he gives himself a chance. Even if Craig Gordon saves it, it might bounce down somebody for a tap in, but it's right at the goalie.
Yeah, the way he reacted suggested he felt he could do better. As Hibs pick up here with O'Hara out to Obita on this near side.
See, you see it so often in football now. The fullback takes the ball, he's already got his body closed off. For the life of me, I don't understand why they don't open them up completely and slide the ball up the line. Slide the ball up the line. You instantly have taken out the opposition midfield, and then you've got a 1v1. Now, Eli Yuhan, as much as it's sort of gone on and criticised, he's never really been given the ball to go and do that often enough.
No.
If you're going to play him, give him the ball and let him go and try and do it. If he doesn't do it, then, you know, have a go and tell him to do something different. But the amount of times you see fullbacks, they take the ball 10-15 yards in front of their centre half, but they're already positioned to just pass it straight back to the centre half.
Mikey, even in that position there though, when the ball came out, it wasn't played with much pace, so he can step in as if he's going to play it back inside, let it through his body, and open up, and then you have your 1v1.
There's Johan down the left here for a beta. He's on the touchline, swings the early ball into the Hearts box. It's headed away by Penrice. And the break to Triantis. Actually not been the worst start to the second half here by Hibs, to try and force the issue. They are their home team, of course, but Danda wins it back off Johan, and now it's with Devlin, who finds Boateng out to Spittle, but he gives it away to Miller. Oh, it's a really loose ball by Lewis Miller, and Shanklin was almost onto it. He goes all the way back to his keeper. Lawrence Shanklin very nearly nipped in on the blind side to get onto that stray ball. Well, it was almost a stray ball. I think the Hibs fans had their heart in their mouth there.
Passed the ball forward. There was no need to go back to the goalkeeper there. Show a bit of composure, have an awareness.
Rolls has it for Hearts. Just outside his own box, goes back to Gordon. Made his Edinburgh Derby debut 21 years ago. Craig Gordon, here he is, making saves as well. Made a couple of big ones this afternoon. He was out for a throw on this near side for Hearts to be taken by Oyagoke. Been told to go a few feet further back by the fourth official, Colin Stephen, down there.
Vital interjection there from the fourth official.
Oyagoke will take eventually, taking his time, bowls it infield to Boateng under pressure from Gale, gets it back to Rolls, who turns it with the right foot to the left hand side for Penrice, wearing those blue boots. That's
the positions where it goes out to the full back of Hearts, and they just don't have that out ball, so it needs to come back and then try and work their way through the middle.
Hibs have got to recognise that and just press the life out of them. You know, it happens on the left hand side, like Scott said, and then it happens exactly again on the right hand side. Oyagoke again has to go back, because nobody, and it's not as if it's difficult, you know, aspects of the game to figure out.
But Mikey, that should have been spoken about at half time. When it goes out to a full back, that's your trigger. You go at real pace. The first guy might not get it, but on the next one,
As far as the benches are concerned this afternoon, outfield-wise, Hibs, Levitt, Doyle-Hayes, Iredale, McCurdy, Mariah Welsh, Bushiri, Milotnikov, Kukarevich, Hearts of Kingsley, Halkett, Grant, Mackay, Forrest, Wilson, Boyce and Forrester. As Penrice comes down the left, knocks it in the box, Shanklin shoots for goal. Little touch, kind of scuffed it. Goalkeeper gets enough on it to get it clear out to the far side, having made the block. Spittle has it to the edge of the Hibs box for Danda. Danda rolls it to Spittle. Lovely little run to the left for Penrice. Again, it's a low ball back. Couldn't find Shanklin on the penalty spot, and it's cleared there by Ekpiteta.
But look at what happens when you start getting some penetration in the wide areas, Liam. Opens the game up, starts creating chaos in the defence. They're turned and facing their own goal. The fans get excited.
A chance to thread it through towards Shanklin by Danda. It's cut out by Ekpiteta though, and now it's Miller. Long ball looking for Gale, but Kai Rolls is there. If they're going to go the long ball, Kukarevich is a much better option up there than Gale is. Devlin's caught, free kick Hearts, much to the annoyance of the Hibernian supporters. It's 0-0, we played 53.
Well, I think that's where we're at with it, with Hibs. Mikey touched on it at the top of the show about identity. Because they don't have an identity, they've been made to go along here to Dwight Gale, who is a player who plays off the shoulder, wants chances to fall to win the box. Kukarevich is on the bench. That's when we talk about identity, that's what we mean. If you're going to play that way, you would start with Kukarevich and the ball's up, then you can get your Martin Boyles, your Johans round about him. That has been probably the biggest problem with Hibs this season. The players don't match what they've obviously worked on in training, because as soon as they're put under any sort of pressure, everything goes out the window.
Foul by Shanklin there in the edge of the Hibs box. A decision which is roundly applauded by Warren O'Hara. Will be a free kick for Hibs, just as I say, inside their penalty area, and Burswich will take.
See, in top of that, Liam, as well, if you're Miller in that situation and you see Dwight Gale, the football brain in you goes, right, I'm going to need to drop this in so that when the ball's coming out there, it's coming down his thigh or his feet, and he can actually get a chance to hold the ball up, but it's going into his neck. And they're all wee things that players have got to notice during the game. That's not nothing to do with managers or systems. That's identifying how you can get your team in better positions and respect for your teammate.
There's Vargas, he's evaded Miller, can't get away from Ekpiteta. It's a good challenge. Vargas on the deck. Hibs will play on. And they've got it with Miller now. He's got space to operate in. He's got Hoylett ahead of him. He likes to roll it straight out of play for a Hearts throw-in. My goodness me. What on earth was that?
That was a moment where I was just saying before about Junior Hoylett's the sort of guy that's great to play with. You're driving at the middle of the park. He's in a position, he recognises he can't get the ball at his feet, so he drops his shoulder and he moves 5 yards the other way, and he gives you a simple pass. 10 yards, slide it into Hoylett's feet. He can break and run at the defence. He turns and passes it out the park.
Foul on Oyugoki, incidentally. That's the roar you heard in the background. Hearts have a free kick. Hibs didn't feel that it was a foul. Oyugoki brought crashing to the ground there by Hoylett.
If you're Hoylett in that situation, you're infuriated with that. I've been in that position. You run off the back of him. The Hearts player can't see. You're on his blind side. You're then at the back four. It's staring you in the face. That's the pass to play. To then turn round and play a 5-6 yard pass out the park. And that is the wee thing, the things we're talking about with Hibs. The 5-10 yard passes, the right decisions.
Free kick Hearts, Penrice takes, left-footed, bends it into the box, headed away by Ekpiteta. Spittle trying to keep it alive here, knocks it down the left-hand side of the box for Rolls, back out to Spittle, wide on the left-hand side, shimmies away from Hoylett, drives the ball into the box, and then Miller gets the touch. Hoylett will try and prevent the corner, down he goes looking for a free kick, and he gets it as well. Good experienced play by Junior Hoylett, right in front of the Hearts fans, and it stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0. I mean, going back that Lewis Miller pass just a moment ago, I've never been a professional footballer in my life, but even I knew that the ball to Hoylett was the option.
Did that need confirmation, Liam?
Well, I wasn't even an amateur one, to be fair.
I wasn't talking about that, I was meaning the pass that was going out the park.
Talking about the movement from Hoylett ahead of him, he was in a terrific space.
I know, it was clear for everybody to see. Yeah.
He actually done the double movement. He was on the first time, didn't get it because he hadn't made his mind up, he was hesitant. Goes the second time, which then is probably the better option, and chooses against it again. Infuriating as a creative player that when you finally created a bit of space for yourself.
Danda has it. It's a good little spell this for Hearts. We've got it in Hibs territory again. Oyugoki on this near side, taking on Johan. Pass forwards cut out.
But the point is, he wants to go in there because he doesn't want to go and take folk on. He gets to 30 yards from the Hibs goal and he narrows off the game and loses the ball. What do you see if there's got a wide man there? They want to take on, they want to hit the byline, and we just saw 5 minutes before when they were in that wide position, it causes chaos. That's where you want to get to in a game of football. But so many teams, it's like they avoid it as if it's like the plague going into that area of the park.
Shankland with his back to goal at the edge of the box, just couldn't get it under control, and Miller's onto it for Hibs. Takes it forward, then rolls it back to Obita over on this left-hand side. He just hammers it forward, and that's gone right through to Frankie Kent. And Hibs started the second half pretty well. They were knocking the ball about. They were in the attacking third. They were in the wide areas, looking like they could cause problems. But just in the last 5 minutes, that's all gone to pot. Long balls coming forward again, and it's going straight back into Hearts' possession. And repeat.
See, when you have that sort of good start to the second half, I know we're touching on it again, but when Lewis Miller then passes a ball out the park, it all adds to the pressure. These little small details, that shouldn't happen. So then it gives Hearts encouragement. They start getting on the ball, and now they're at the Hibs back four now, causing problems.
A long one forward towards Shankland, but it's gone way over his head and right through to Bursic. Now this game finishes nothing each. You would not be surprised, just the way it is panning out right now.
You've got to change. I mean, you know, from Hearts' perspective, they have to get somebody in a wide position. They've got to. The game is crying out for it.
O'Hara down the left-hand touchline for Obita. Infield it comes to Johan. It's opened up a bit here. Hoylett to his right. Johan continues his run. He gets it through. Chance here for Gale. A heavy first touch allows Gordon to smother at the feet of the veteran striker, who's looking to score his 100th career goal in British football. With his next one, he will hit the century.
Just didn't quite get it under control. Craig Gordon just waiting to pounce there. He comes out with all the experience he has, gathers the ball up.
Oyugoki down the line for Danda, driving forward. He's got Vargas to his right, uses him on the overlap. Vargas now level with the 6-yard line, but well defended by Obita. It's strong. Vargas didn't look happy with that, and he's just tried to go head to head with Jordan Obita, and fair play to the Hibs left back. He hasn't bitten at it and just moves away from the scene.
Even in that situation there, for me, decision making, if Jan Danda just holds onto the ball for another second, Vargas can get on the inside of the fullback and the slip passes just through. It goes on the outside.
Long ball from Bursic. We're going to go to Brian McLaughlin, who's pitch side, in just a moment, because there's going to be loads of changes for both teams by the sounds of things. We'll get to that the next moment of opportunity. And it's slipped to Kwon by Ekpiteta, and it's the on-loan Celt, Kwon QQ, who plays it out to Ekpiteta, who squares it to O'Hara midway inside his own half. Forward to Johan, and back to Triantis. And then on this left-hand side, O'Hara goes long with another dreadful ball. And it's out for a throw. I mean, you can see why the Hibs fans are so frustrated just now. In fact, let's get to Brian. He can deal with these subs. Brian.
There's going to be 4 subs, 2 for each side coming out. I don't think either manager's happy with the first 15 minutes. Eli Ewan and Dwight Gale are coming off for Hibernian, with Nathan Mariah Welsh and Nikola Kuharevich coming on. For Hearts Midlothian, it's going to be Jan Danda and Kenneth Vargas who are going to be replaced. Coming on for Hearts will be George Grant and Alan Forrest.
Right, Hibs changes first, Scott, your thoughts?
Yeah, Kuharevich come up, give him a different focal point, maybe hold the ball up a little better than Dwight Gale. Obviously the way the games went, Hibs have naturally went long, they just ran through to Craig Gordon on several occasions, in fact more than several occasions, so that maybe gives them a different outlet to then get your Martin Boyles and that on the ball. From Hearts, Alan Forrest, obviously with that goal during the week, fantastic finish, he'll be high confidence, so gives you that bit of pace as well. So Vargas has a great game in my opinion, so I think that's the right change for sure.
I mean, Forrest will naturally give you a bit more width. Whether he's the answer, I'm not overly convinced, but he certainly will give better balance to this game. I'm not sure that I would have been taking Jan Danda off. I would have wanted to see him put in the centre of the park. He's brought George Grant on. I don't think George Grant plays that position nearly as well as a Spittle or a Danda.
There's a long ball hoisted forward towards Shanklin, trying to take it down in the chest to move for goal, but it bounces off it and right through to Bursic. Scored that dramatic late winner, didn't he, Lawrence Shanklin, here last season? I just wondered if it's set up for something similar today. Triantis out to Obita on the near side, forward looking to try and get Hibs up the pitch of Mariah Welsh, and then the touch from Obita takes it out for a throw-in after it looked like he was going to burn away from Oyegoke. Scott's becoming, I can tell you, increasingly annoyed by what he's seeing out on the pitch here.
Triantis has got to play the ball into Mariah Welsh there. It is screaming out. He's picked up a pot. If he's in, he's on the half turn, he's at the Hearts back foot, he takes the safe option and goes wide, and now it's out for a Hart. He's got to see that, there's no question of it.
Because the thing is, it goes wide and then the fullback's trying to pass it into Mariah Welsh, and guess what, it gets cut out.
Hibs have it with Kwon in the centre circle, out wide right for Miller, galloping down that far side, early ball in, Boyle knocks for goal but he puts it well wide, first time with the right foot, way past the left hand post. Stays Hibs 0, Hearts 0, we played 63.
A lot of this so far, it just feels, from Hearts' perspective, it feels a little bit like it's paint by numbers type stuff. There's a pattern there, and it goes through the phases, but it's never really achieving what you're wanting or expecting. It's just lacking that little bit of an X factor. Obviously, you'll be looking for Forrest to bring in that little bit of pace, that ability to go and eliminate a player with dribbling with the ball. I'll go back to it. I would have kept Danda on the park in the middle.
A good play by Boyle this time, and he's been hauled to the ground by Cammy Devlin, the two Australia internationals, and Devlin's going to be yellow carded this over on the right hand side, on the right wing, about level with the Hearts 6-yard line. It's good positive play by Martin Boyle. He's been on the periphery of the match throughout here, but he has that quality that could quite easily unlock an extra couple of points for Hibs this afternoon and take them off the bottom.
Listen to the reaction from the crowd though. Look at where it is. You want to get the ball into the final third enough in a way that's controlled, and it allows your players to then go and try and take folk on. It's just a free kick, but it gets the crowd excited.
Hoylett's over it, and he's going to try and find somebody in green and white inside that box. Off to our left, the famous 5 end. Hibs, who've had a pretty miserable record in this fixture in recent years, I'm going to try and turn the tables, starting here. Hoylett with the free kick, and it comes. It's flicked by O'Hara, the neck Pateta off the bar, but in! It's in! Hibs score! Kikarevich was there to try and bundle it home, and he squeezed it by Craig Gordon, and that sends the home section in Easter Road wild here in the Port of Leith, where it is Hibernian 1, Heart of Midlothian 0.
We touched on how crucial these set pieces would be for Hibs with the height that they have, and that's what you see there. They go into the second phase, ball across, cause all sorts of problems. I think it was Pateta who puts it across, and Kujerevich who gets the finish, and that's the inspired substitution Hibs fans were looking for.
Well, if there's anything that's going to ignite Hibs, it's a derby win. They've got something to hang on to here now. It comes just from a simple set piece, second phase. Hearts don't deal with it well enough. Pateta's able to get enough on it. It starts dropping over Craig Gordon's head, and they've got bodies in there to knock it to the back of net. I mean, look, it's a goal. You can't say that it's fashioned from any great intricate play. It's a ball into the box. They win the header, they win the second header, and they get the drop down. Credit to them for being alive. Now, you can imagine it gives them an extra yard of pace, gives them that little bit of adrenaline to go and cling on and hang on to something. I just think that, from Hearts' perspective, they've missed a wonderful opportunity in the obvious part of the game to really go and hurt a side who were clearly rocking, and they were riddled with nerves. And they've not really been able to go and hammer it home. They were in control. There was phases of play they were going through that everyone was quite nice, but they lacked any real intent to go and hurt Hibs. They've now got 25 minutes or so to go and rectify that, or they're staring at a derby defeat in the face.
Third goal of the season for Kujerevich, his first in the derby, and in front of the famous 5 stand here at Easter Road. Hibs have the advantage then. As it stands, they are leapfrogging Hearts, and the maroon and white half of the capital would go back to the foot of the Scottish Premiership, but there's still a quarter of this game to go. Here come Hearts with Forrest down the near side, and Bita trying to defend it, and he gets it behind for the goal kick to his side. And the one thing Hibs have lacked this season is clean sheets. Bursic has only managed 3 of them. This is his 13th game, so we know how challenging it's been at the back for Hibs this season. If they can win this derby match with a clean sheet, it'll give them all kinds of belief.
Oh, it'll be massive. It'll matter because, as much as I'm not convinced by the back line, if you start getting a clean sheet, it can breed a bit of confidence. It can perhaps get you through to January when you can make some reinforcements there. But I was just going to say before, look what happened there. Oyegoki gets the ball. What does he do? He plays a simple ball up the line. I know it runs out for a by kick in the end, but you can see without any great, pattern or without any real great invention, you can slide the ball up the line and you can get a 1v1 if your wide man picks the ball up.
Cleared by O'Hara, dumps it into the east stand on the far side. Hearts have a throw in midway inside Hibs territory.
Listen, we speak about performance a lot, but I think today's a day where Hibs need the 3 points. Hibs just need the 3 points, whether that's grinding it out until the final whistle. That they need to do to get the 3 points for this club.
Again, it's out for the Hearts throw in over on that far side. Penrice is over it. I kind of feel Hearts have played within themselves a little bit today as well. They've won a couple of games under the new manager Neil Critchley. They're one of their best performances this season came against Aberdeen at Pittodrie. It was a game they lost as Spittle knocks it left hand side. Grant pulls it back and Shanklin strikes it wide. Wow, Lawrence Shanklin of last season's burst in the net with that one. He's put it past the left-hand post, and that sums up the season that he's having personally and Hearts are having collectively. It's Hibs 1, Hearts 0, but Shanklin's missed a glorious chance to bring this derby level.
Well, it's a great bit of play, pace, fired into the attack. I think it's Miller who is just ball watching as the 1-2's played. You can see what they were going to do, and credit to Hearts because they did it at real pace. The 1-2 with I think it was Grant and Spittle that played the 1-2. and then Shanklin pulls into a wonderful position. It catches the back of the net, and I think obviously a lot of people thinking it had found the back of the net. He misses it at the near post. I mean, that's a gilt-edged opportunity for Lawrence Shanklin. Great attacking play with some pace from Hearts. But again, for me, that is terrible defending. Lewis Miller sees that 1-2 happening, not like 2 yards and you can't defend it. Grant's making a run probably 10 yards away, and he's running behind you.
He's always reactive though, Mikey, that's the thing. His body shape was all wrong. He didn't know what happened to him there.
Here come Hibs, looking for a second after that little let-off. Obita wide on the left, gets the ball in. Hoylett's touch takes it behind for the goal kick. I have to say, I was getting ready to say it was 1-1 here when that dropped back to Shanklin. I wasn't far off it. And it rippled the side of the net there. As Michael says, it caught the back left of the net, the wrong side of the post for Shanklin. Bursic was very relieved that it went past as Cairo takes a chance at the back there against Kukarevich, where he's found Kent.
Liam, I was just going to say as well, see for me as well, and this is my other sort of concern with the Hearts team, they don't have enough. You know, everyone goes on about how many midfielders they've got, Hearts. For me, they lack physical presence and quality. Devlin and Boateng, they're all right, but you want somebody that's actually going to be able to start the game. Find the likes of Spittle, Dando. So often you see defenders picking the ball up, and they're quite happy just to stand in a position where they're not really going to get the ball. We saw before, and you said about when Junior Hoylett got into a position where it was easy for the defender to find his feet. You should be doing the same as a centre midfielder, constantly checking your shoulders, constantly peeling off the shoulder of whoever it is that's trying to mark you, and working an angle.
Yeah, Oyegoke wide right of the Hibs box. Early ball in is cleared there by O'Hara on the 6-yard line. Breaks back to Oyegoke, fouled by Hoylett. Free kick Hearts, level with the Hibs 18-yard line on this near side.
I think what you're finding with midfielders, even throughout the league, Mikey, for me, is they all want to drop off the game and take it with no pressure. Well, they're not hurting anybody. They go 10 yards higher and they take it in amongst bodies. They can receive that touch, play it nice and sharp, and you've moved the team and you're in far better areas to go and hurt the opposition.
Nikola Kukarevich was on the pitch for just over 4 minutes when he slotted home the opening goal. Hearts looking for an equaliser here. Penrice with the free kick and the header over the bar from Kai Rolls, who holds his head in his hands. And it stays Hibs 1, Hearts 0. We've played 72.
This is a massive 20 minutes for Hibs.
Yeah.
I don't think you can, overstate how important this is, because you know the nerves are going to be there at the forefront of all their minds.
Let's get to some changes. Hearts changes, Brian.
Yeah, another double change coming from Neil Critchley, and it's Cammy Devlin who's booked just to build up to that goal. He's off, as is number, I'm just trying to have a look here, Malaki Boateng is also coming off, and coming onto the pitch, young James Wilson, who scored his first goal for the club last week, and Barry Mackay, who's not set the head on fire this season. Big 20 minutes for him though.
Bursic will play it short to his right, then to Ekpiteta. Well, it's a big 20-odd minutes for both teams, let's be honest. Hearts, as it stands, slumping back to the foot of the Scottish Premiership tonight. And
Hibs need to find a way to win this game. A hook or crook. Defend. If you need to get guys behind the ball, you need to be comfortable without it at times in games, because Hearts will pile on the pressure at some point.
Yeah, this result also sends St Mirren into 11th spot. Hibs will go up to 10th. They'll throw in to Hibs on this near side. Obita with it. Level with the edge of the D of the Hearts box. Plays it forward. Grant then turns it out for another throw in to Hibs, which is, I think, about level with the Hearts penalty spot now. And that goal from Kukarevich could be absolutely massive for the green and white half of Scotland's capital. Obita plays it short to Hoylett. Back to Obita and back to Hoylett. Chaperoned there by Oyegoke. He's being forced all the way back up the line. Eventually passes it back into his own half. For Ekpiteta finds Kwon, and now it's back with Bursic. Shankland chasing it down, but it's cleared by Bursic out to the far side. Miller's header keeps it in play. Bouncing ball. Mackay going after it along with Boyle. Eventually Hibs emerge with possession. It's Lewis Miller. Flicks it with the outside of the boot. There's an advantage here. Hibs could have had a free kick, but it's Kukarevich wide on the right. Now down to the byline. Wins the corner off Kai Rolls. Hibs with a 1-0 lead. Looking for a second. It could put this derby match to bed. yellow cards come out there after the challenge by Penrice over on the far side. Don Robertson played a good advantage there, and it's led to a Hibs corner. Now the goal they scored wasn't from a corner, it was from a free kick over there, as good as a corner, and they'll be looking to do likewise from this moment. Hoylett is out to take. There is a short option. Martin Boyle's out there. What's happening over on the Hibs right as they attack the goal to the left?
Why would
15
they not,
left.
I don't understand why they wouldn't take it short. I mean, they've got a 2v1. Another Hearts player's nowhere near.
Yeah, Hoylett's going to put it straight into the box, but he hasn't got the trajectory on it. Sliced away to the edge of the area. Kwon shoots over the bar. He's claiming another corner should be coming their way there, and right in the face of Don Robertson. You have to be careful with that these days. Well, it's over the bar.
It certainly looked it took a bit of a strange trajectory, but it made me think it probably did take a deflection. And you see his reaction as well.
A real dip on it, wasn't there, when it went over the bar?
Yep.
And it's Kent to Rolls out to the touchline for Penrice. Really intriguing final 15 minutes plus stoppage time here at Easter Road on Sports Sound this Sunday afternoon on BBC Radio Scotland across the frequencies, on digital and online at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. Motherwell Celtic, Rangers St Mirren to come. You'll get team news after this one from those two matches. It'll also be available at the live text, the website. Hearts have it. Cross comes into the box, flicked on by Shanklin. Forrest has it, right hand side of the Hibs penalty area, taking on Obita to the byline. It comes bouncing off him and behind for the goal kick, I think. Yeah, no corner. Goal kick to Hibs. 1-0 to Hibs. 76 played.
I don't think that went out. It didn't look.
No, I felt that the player was out, but the ball was still in.
Aye. That's what it looked like to me, but anyway, the linesman's given a by kick there. You see, just even there, and it's not to say it's the solution because it's not, but what I think it does show is the lack of passing ability in the middle of the park. George Grant gets the ball, he tries to drive forward, he keeps it, it goes back to Spittle, he plays a crossfield ball. That is what's glaringly omitted from the Hearts team, the squad, is guys in the middle of the park with a bit of a passing range. Not just having to play like a 40-50 yard crossfield pass, but Blair Spittle's looking for the ball. He gets it, he's now playing central midfield with the subs that have been made, and he goes and spreads it out the other side. I just think, and Scott's absolutely spot on. Nowadays you see so many folk playing in the centre of the park, they don't really want the ball.
No. You see it week in, week out in the SPFL. For me, guys dropping away deep and they're not affecting the game whatsoever. Be braver, go 10 yards higher, take it. The options that opens up for you in terms of an attacking sense is glaring.
Hibs have only kept one clean sheet in the league so far this season. So against St Johnstone here, their only win in recent times. If they keep a clean sheet today, they win the derby. But Oyegoke swings the cross in, but it's too close to Bursic, who holds on his 6-yard line. Bowled low forward to Kwon. Out to Boyle on that right-hand side. Looks up at the pitch ahead of him and launches it forward. And chases on there from Mariah Welsh. Rolls gets it away. Finds Penrice, and now it's Grant.
If he meant that, that was incredible.
It is here with George Grant. Plays it short. And then out to this right-hand side, it's with Alan Forrest. Alan Forrest jinking along the 18-yard line. He's just outside the D now. He's gone from right to left. He's just knocked it out to that far side, Penrice, and then infield to Mackay. And then left-hand side, it's Forrest. Drops the shoulder, he's inside the area, looking for space to shoot. He runs into trouble. A green and white wall in front of him. Breaks off one of them, breaks to Spittle. Back out wide right, Oyegoke. Oyegoke tries to cross, cut out though by Obita, and it stays 1-0 Hibs. How comfortable are Hibs sitting in the lead, do you think, here, Mikey?
I think, due to the circumstances, not very, because it's just on a knife edge. Hearts are starting to get more of the ball. I'd be looking at making a sub if I was David Gray. I'm looking at Martin Boyle, and he looks burst. He's not played loads. I'd be looking at, I'm just trying to see their bench. They've got young Milotnikov. Now, whether you really want to put somebody on that young in the wide area, possibly, but maybe even Jake Doyle-Hayes in the middle of the park. Somebody just to try and shore things up a little bit. Having said all that, there's nobody on the bench that's standing and shouting at me. They need to put him on.
At what stage, Mikey, though, do you make that sub where you're committing to protecting the lead? and naturally you'll drop off, and Hearts will get further up the pitch, and you leave yourself on the ropes to an equaliser. You want to defend well but still have that threat.
Bursic is down receiving treatment inside the 6-yard box. The Hibs fans are applauding in memory of Peter Cormack, who played here with such distinction in the 1960s. Passed away earlier this month, and his image is being displayed as well on the big screens at either end of the East Stand over on the far side. Let's get to Brian McLaughlin, who can bring us news of Hibs changes.
Yeah, there's going to be another change, just the one at the moment from Hibs. It's going to be Junior Hoylett who's going to be coming off, and coming on is going to be Jake Doyle-Hayes. Now, I think his last appearance here was against Aston Villa over a year ago.
It was, Brian, yeah, he's been out a long time, and the Irishman's going to be on shortly. Almost forget he's at the club. Oh, that spell at St Mirren.
He was there when I was there, that was a while ago.
There you go. We are throwing here for Hearts. Oyegoke level with the 18-yard line of Hibs, short to Forrest, back to Oyegoke. We're in the final 10 of the 90 now. Hibs 1-0 up, but Oyegoke crosses, but again it's a pretty comfortable take for Bursic, and given everything the Hibs goalkeeper went through last week at Tannadice, he will be desperate for a clean sheet today.
Better believe it.
He started the game nervously as well, and he launches it forward under pressure from Wilson. Long up towards Kukarevich. He gets a slight touch onto it, then Boyle plays it off. Kai rolls, claiming handball, and eventually getting that decision. Hibs have a free kick midway inside Hearts territory. Hibs 1, Hearts 0 in the derby.
Actually, that was a nice touch for Peter Cormack. Top guy.
And here is the change. And Junior Hoylett, the Hibs fans applauding him after a good performance. Yeah, Peter Cormack, those spells at Liverpool and Bristol City, Nottingham Forest, Scotland International as well, and he'll be sadly missed by those here at Easter Road. Very much still part of the fabric. As Doyle-Hayes comes on for Hoylett. Can Hibs see it out, or will there be late drama? There's been plenty of that in this fixture's history. Hearts today were chasing their 150th win over Hibs. I'm not sure they're going to win the game from this point, you never know. But maybe take a draw now. But Boyle puts the free kick in, and what an opportunity has just been spurned by Triantis.
It's offside anyway. The linesman put his flag up there.
He put it straight at Craig Gordon. He didn't know it was going to be offside, and he couldn't finish. Hearts hanging on a little bit as Miller goes down. The challenge from Grant over on the touchline. Certainly thrust his right arm into the chest of the Hibs player, and he's been yellow carded, George Grant. He's not long back from suspension, having been sent off in the recent game against Aberdeen. Just over 7 of 90 left. Hibs 1, Hearts 0.
I was just going to say, when you talk about losing the game from this point, you just need to look back to last week.
Tannadice, yeah, it's very true.
So that is going to be very much in the forefront of their minds. And
the red card didn't help them.
Of course it didn't, but they shot themselves in the foot defensively. So for Hibs, as we've been saying all afternoon, they've just got to find a way to get through, and that takes a lot of concentration and hard work.
They lead 1-0. Martin Boyle over the free kick, level with the edge of the D of the Hearts box, and it comes headed away by the man who gave it away, Grant. Doyle-Hayes collects, finds Miller, goes all the way back to Obita in his own half in the centre circle. Long ball, looking to try and get Kukarevich away in the left. If he finds him, it's a wonderful pass, and it is, but the flag's gone up against Mikola Kukarevich. The man whose goal right now is winning the derby. Free kick, Hearts. Final change for Hearts, Brian McLaughlin.
Yeah, it's going to be Daniel Oyegoke who's coming off, and it's his fellow right back Adam Forrester who's coming on. I'm not sure if that's may mean a tactical switch, because the way that they've been chatting with Adam Forrester is to push himself forward, so I'm not sure if they may switch to 3 at the back. I'm not sure.
Neil Critchley staring down the barrel at his first defeat as Hearts manager.
I don't even think if that's tactical. I just think that's replacing a fullback who's not really gave you anything going forward on the right hand side, and telling your replacement to come on and really commit to getting into an area where he can go and hurt Hibs from that wide area.
Hibs have only won one of the last 14 Edinburgh derbies. But an awful record in the fixture. This could be a season changer for them, though, if they can see it out. Hearts will have other ideas, and it's Barry Mackay prodding it back to Rolls, back out to Mackay wide on the left, looks up at the Hibs box, low ball in, Forrest goes to attack it, Bursic goes down, he's unconvincing, Forrest goes down, Hibs bundle it behind for the corner. Well, Bursic just did not look convincing at all when that came towards him. Alan Forrest desperately trying to poke it home. Stays 1-0 Hibs.
That's certainly what you don't need. With 5 minutes to go, you just need your goalkeeper to smother it, kill it. That just nervousness, and it just breeds.
Corner Hearts. In from Spittle. Bursic gets the fingertips to it, and Doyle Hayes heads it out for a Hearts throw in on this near side. The corner came from over there, on the other flank. Penrice is over it, but the change is going to be made first here, as Brian was saying. Forrester on for Oyegoke. Seen plenty action recently, Forrester, and he's coming on for the final. Well, there's less than 5 minutes of the 90 to go, as Hibs desperately try and seek this out. They've got everyone back defending it. And it's going to be a long throw for Hearts on this near side from Penrice. Pulls it into the box. Forrest gets the flick onto it! Goal! Equaliser! Hearts level! And a wonderful moment there for the Hearts supporters in behind Bursic's goal. And they have found an equaliser with just a few minutes left of the 90.
Young Wilson.
And the youngsters managed to knock it past. Frankie Kent was right behind him. And Wilson, who got his first goal for the club at senior level last weekend, has just scored in an Edinburgh derby. It's Hibs 1, Hearts 1.
Well, I'm pretty positive that it'll be Lewis Miller that is ball watching and on his heels. And young Wilson, he's first to react, gets across the face of him and pokes it in the back of the net. That's exactly what it is. Lewis Miller, honestly, cannot defend. Simple as that. And Hearts now are going to be pushing big time to win this game. Hibs, I mean, look, they score a goal from a set piece and they don't defend. Hearts didn't defend it well enough. That there, a long throw in. Got to credit James Wilson, he's on the move.
And Alan Forrest as well.
Wins the first contact. So important, especially from long throws. You've seen him up there, get the first contact, communication, first to react. All the basics of defending that situation, and that's Alan Fury, David Gray. You can't play the game for your players sometimes. It's got to be better. These Hibs players know what's at stake. They know the time in the game. And by the way, it all stems from that ball a couple of minutes earlier should have been come out and collected by Bursic, and Hibs are up the other side of the park.
Yep.
And that's the nervousness that breeds it, that Mikey was talking about.
Hibs were just a few minutes away from a rare Edinburgh derby win with that goal from Wilson, who was a prolific scorer at youth level for Hearts. He's taken it well. I mean, that's exactly what you want from your centre forward there.
It's it's two similar goals in terms of set pieces that come in, winning the first ball, and the second one just reacting quicker than everyone else. But I mean, the Hearts' defensive setup for the goal that they conceded, they maybe should have done a little bit better, but it's not as bad. That one there from Hibs' perspective is terrible. It really is. But it's so predictable. It's from players that do it every week. Every week. Lewis Miller can't defend.
Yeah, I mean, that moment there was just symptomatic of Hibernian season. Don Robertson, he's just had to order a flare to be doused that came from the away end, and I think he's coming over to have a word with somebody over on this near side, including his fourth official,
I think
Colin Stephen. I think
Penrice overtaking the shy in front of the Hibs supporters, and I think they've been launching things at him.
Well, it's not the first time there's been an issue like that over on that far corner here at Easter Road. We're in the 90th minute, it's 1-1. And it's going to be a throw-in for Hearts in an attacking position. They all fancy they can win this now. 7 minutes, by all accounts, are going to be added on at the end.
A real test of Hibs' character, especially after last week now.
There's Kai Rolls, out to the left for Mackay. Mackay dinks it to the edge of the box, cut out by Triantis. who smashes it long. Kukarevich will chase. Kent will try and see it back to his keeper. He does. And Gordon, first time for Rolls, bounces off his head now for a Hibs throw-in over on that far side. Both teams a little bit edgy.
Yeah, Craig Gordon's got to do better for me there. Could have took a touch and then just played it quick. But we know it's maybe the one part of his game where he doesn't excel at.
Thrown on the far side, Lewis Miller over it, but level with the edge of the D of the Hearts box. Over on the far side, the Hibs right as they attack the goal to the left, so we're into the first of 7 minutes. And that's been greeted. A roar from both sets of fans. Miller with the long throw into the Hearts box, half away. Forrest can't get a decisive touch on it. Wilson gets it clear. Picked up by Forrest on the near side. It came off him last. Hibs will have a throw in. Level with the Hearts penalty spot. It will be a point apiece. Or will one of these teams step up and win the first derby meeting here in the capital this season? The stoppage time is underway here. Throw in main stand side for Hibernian. Level with the Hearts penalty spot. Big line of players along the 6-yard line as Miller bowls it in again. And Gordon saves him his own man there, I think. And he's held on to it the second time of asking, and it stays Hibs 1, Hearts 1. James Penrice has gone down. I'm sure that came off a Hearts player and its way back towards his own goal.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really matter, because what it shows you is the difference between somebody like Craig Gordon, who, granted, is a generational talent as a keeper, and then you've got Bursick at the other end of the park, who comes out, fumbles, goes behind for a corner kick, and it breeds that nervousness. What Craig Gordon's just done there is he's just quelled any sort of panic and stopped a dangerous moment with quick reflexes.
He's had a couple of saves like that in the game, Craig Gordon, as he goes long with the left foot. Shanklin underneath it. Remember his late winner here last season, the festive meeting between the two. A spectacular finish into the top left corner. But it's Hibs doing the attacking here with Martin Boyle. Miller trying to get up in the overlap. It's an early ball into the box by Boyle. Kukarevich heads it back towards the penalty spot and away by Grant. Now knocked forward by O'Hara. It's an awkward bounce for George Grant there. Kukarevich was coming back from an offside position though, so Hearts will have a free kick. A crowd of just over 20,000 inside Easter Road this afternoon. You may have been watching what is a 1-1 draw right now. Quan has been named sponsors man of the match here, the local sponsor.
Interesting.
I thought Hoylett was the best Hibs player on show today. He's off the pitch now, of course.
Yep. Beats him for me.
Beta nods it forward. It's Forrester, and then eventually he leaves it, ends up right hand side of the box for Shanklin now with Forrest. Can Hearts win it here? Alan Forrest gets the ball into the 6-yard box and headed away by Ekpiteta. He certainly made a difference, Alan Forrest. Michael's been continually banging the drum about the lack of width that Hearts have. Alan Forrest offers that up. 3 of the 7 minutes that were added have been played. 1-1, Hearts corner in front of their fans. Penrice will take in swinger with the left foot, and Hearts turn this around into the back post area. It's headed past in the end. It's come off a Hearts head last. I think it was Kent, and it will be a goal kick to Hibs, and it will stay one apiece. Given the recent memories of the capitulation at Tannadice last weekend, you can't blame the Hibs fans being a little nervous here. A few empty green and white seats over on the far side. I can't imagine why you'd want to leave this at this point when the bragging rights are still there to be had. It is Triantis on the ball for Hibs in the midfield. Rolls it out wide right to Miller. First time back to Ekpiteta, who knocks it forward with the right foot. Rolls with a header away. Miller with a header down the line. It's going to go out for a Hearts throw-in. If this finishes a draw, is that about right? Is that a fair reflection on the performances of both teams?
Probably. I mean, aye.
Yes, then.
It's been, nobody's really it's been stamped to the 40 like they deserve to win the game in my opinion.
Yeah, both keepers have made saves, both teams have had chances. Where there's time, And there's still hope for both of them that they can turn 1 point into 3. It means so much to the football supporters in this city. Header down the left-hand line there it is. Barry Mackay trying to free himself of his man over there, and he's been brought crashing to the ground by Miller. Hearts have a free kick. We're almost at the end of the 5th minute of stoppage time. 7 were added. It's 1-1 at Easter Road. Team news from the other games at bbc.co.uk/Sport Scotland on the live text. We will bring you it here as well on Sportsound once this game finishes, which won't be too far off now. Mackay with the free kick, couple of yards from the far side touchline, bends it into the box, away by Miller, breaks the Spittle, the edge of the area, takes a touch and shoots, and it's blocked by Kukarevich. Well, you feared for Hibs there when it dropped to Blair Spittle. There's not many better qualified to score from outside the box in the Scottish Premiership than he. And it's out for a throw into Hearts on this near side. And Forrest are over it. Both teams trying to win the match. Comes back to Kent. And then to Kai Rolls, goes long with the left foot, looking for Alan Forrest down this near side. Headed away by Obita. Into the midfield it drops. Neither team can really hold on to it for any length of time right now. This is a scoreline, incidentally, that would keep these two in the bottom two. Here's Spittle for Forrest. Forrest are on this near side. Alan Forrest trying to make some space away from Triantis, plays it short to Spittle, out to Grant, now with Forrester. Forrester looking for Spittle at the byline, he gets there, pulls it across, blocked by Triantis, but it is a Heart of Midlothian corner. The final minute of the 7 that were added. This is the opportunity they've been waiting for, the visitors.
It's a moment the Hibs fans and players are absolutely dreading as well.
Penrice will take in swinger with the left again, front to the south stand. Then it comes to the near post, it's headed away by Triantis. Still time, we're talking seconds now though. Mackay down the line for Penrice, gets himself shimmied away from Mariah Welsh, who brings him down, and now Hearts have a free kick level with the Hibernian penalty spot, just a couple of yards from the near side touchline. And if there's going to be a team that's going to win this derby, it's going to be Hearts, because this is going to be the last chance. At 1-1. James Penrice is over it. I mean, this could be a huge moment, not just in this match, but in both these clubs' respective seasons. The damage it could do to one of them, and all kinds of good it could do for the other. In from Penrice to the back post, it's pulled back across, and Bursic punches it away at his near post, breaks to Spittle, delicate chip ball in. Shanklin's gone down, play on, Penrice across, cut out by Obita, the near post. That'll be a free kick to Hibs, surely. It will be. Foul. And there is the final whistle as well. Right at the end, Martin Boyle was brought to the ground by Penrice inside his own box, and they have to settle for a point apiece, these two. An oh so dramatic conclusion to the game. The first half was relatively quiet. There were one or two opportunities. Craig Gordon was called into action once or twice. Dwight Gale had a couple of headers in this game, either side of half-time, which he nodded straight at the Hearts goalkeeper. Shankland had a shot in the break, which Bursic saved in the first half. In the second, though, there was more life about it. Kukarevich giving Hibs the lead. 166, bundling home just 4 minutes after coming off the bench. Ekpiteta and O'Hara with headers from Hoylett's free kick, and Kukarevich was there to knock it home. And just as Hibs thought they were going to pick up a rare Edinburgh Derby victory, young James Wilson has popped up with the biggest moment of his career, biggest moment of his life, as he stole in from Alan Forrest, flick on across the 6-yard box. Wilson was there, beat Lewis Miller to it, slid it home in off the post, and took the acclaim from the Hearts supporters, who packed out that away end off to our right in the south stand. And perhaps a draw is a fair reflection of the game. David Gray applauding the Hibs fans. It's another game without a win for them. Just that victory over St Johnstone last month to cling on to in recent times. Hearts, well, they keep the unbeaten run under Neil Critchley going. They were made to slog for it at the end there. But for these two big clubs, huge clubs in Scottish football terms, it still isn't good enough because they're both sitting in the bottom two in the league. Hibs continue to prop it up with Hearts just ahead on goal difference. It finished here in the capital. The first Edinburgh derby of the season. Hibernian 1, Heart of Midlothian 1.